Bradley, if you don't mind, I'd like to head to you first. It was
Yeah,
not, it was a little while ago, but yet it seems like yesterday, Bradley and Ashley and family came down to a meeting. And Bradley, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but you were a little bit hesitant to stand up in front of people, a little bit shyer, I would say, than your amazing wife there. If I
yeah,
I think we would all agree to that. So, but yet you did. You stood up and you shared your story, and I was hoping you'd share a little bit of that tonight again, and then a follow-up question after that, and I can re-ask is what made you kind of go all in on TM3 United? What was it that finally said, you know what, I'm bold enough that I'm going to start sharing my story because it's not easy, as we all know, and yet you did it with passion, and now your team's starting to explode. If you wouldn't touch on that too, but let's talk about your story if you don't mind. I think people would love to hear it.
yeah. Thanks, Darren. So I've struggled for several years. I'm ex-military and law enforcement. I was in the Army and I was a deputy sheriff in Kansas City for 9 years prior to doing what I do now. And I do struggle with some PTSD, anxiety, and depression things, but I hadn't slept in a very long time. And what I mean by that is, yeah, I go to bed, I toss and turn, roll, have night sweats, things like that. Just it wasn't good. Ashley has been there through the worst of most of that, and I've tried anything and everything to to get sleep. I've been medicated by doctors. I've tried things off the street, anything I could to just get a good night's sleep. I was masking it with anything. Nothing was working. And then Kevin kept pushing TM3 on me and my father-in-law. And I was skeptical. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those that I've tried everything. So I thought, and I tried DREAMZ for the first time wrong. I thought it said take 2 drops, not two dropperfuls, and slept like a baby all night. Woke up the next morning. I wasn't drowsy or anything like that. So still skeptical. I was like, I'm going to try this again the next night. And it just kept going and going and going. And I started seeing a difference in my sleep schedule, getting more rest, and then just kind of started to tiptoe in TM3 from there. Uh, Doing better now mentally, physically, still working on my physical health. Mental health is beyond where I thought it was going to be. Um, I sleep better. You don't have to wake me up in the middle of the night. But that's been a lot of it, and I just kind of wanted to dive in and share my story because I know I'm not the only one out there that struggles with PTSD of any sort, no matter what the PTSD is from. And I want to be able to share that product with people that are having a hard time sleeping, whether it's from that or sleep insomnia, whatever the case may be. Just kind of get that out there in front of them and try helping someone that wanted answers like myself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And Ashley, what did you notice through this process? Because I remember you saying it was kind of hard to watch a little bit when you love someone so much and they're struggling, from a health challenge. What did it mean to you to see some improvement?
Yeah. He used when we first started dating and got together, he would come to me all the time once he started opening up about the things he had seen. And he would constantly come to me and my dad and our pastor at our church. And for the life of him, he couldn't fathom like why God made him participate overseas and see the things that he had seen and have to live with that for the rest of his life. He's seen more in law enforcement and the military as well than anybody should ever have to see. And some of the scariest stuff he's seen has been on US soil. So he would share his stories with me about things and calls that he had to go on, the most crazy things. And you could tell inside it would just like eat him alive a little bit more each day. And he'd be like, why would God, put me through something like that? And if he's not going to give you more than you can handle. And I finally looked at him one day. I said, maybe God put you through those things so you could come out on the other end and help somebody else that's maybe having to go through the same things. And so he started helping and talking to some of the older veterans and some of the younger veterans that would come through salutes and kind of let them confide in him and talk about things. And he finally, it took a while, but he finally woke up to the idea of maybe, as horrible as it is, maybe it's not such a bad thing that he did have to go through those things, because maybe he can help save somebody else. As far as the sleeping at night and all of that, I mean, we just took it day by day. Every day was different. Some days he couldn't sleep because he had acid reflux and GERD, and he had a hiatal hernia he had to have surgery on. So he would just drown in his sleep and shake the entire house. And the dreams really helped as far as getting him to fall asleep and stay asleep. But the acid reflux would then wake him back up. So we had to get that problem fixed. And now I barely hear him snoring at night. I've been told I snore louder than him now. So it was definitely a step by step. And as much as I rave about TM3 and the products and stuff, God had a lot to play in a lot of that too. So I believe God's put TM3 in our lives for a reason, and everything is just God gives us the tools to the kit that we need to better our bodies and ourselves, versus eating ding dongs and ho hos. So as long as we treat our body properly, take care of it, I think God's going to give us the right tools. And TM3 so far has been a phenomenal tool for both of us. So.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you both. And you're right. I think you're spot on. Sometimes we go through hard things for ourselves and for others. And Bradley, you, because of that, you've shared that. We know a lot of your team members gravitated towards your sincerity and honesty, and now you're growing a business. So thank you both for,
Thank you.
and see
Thanks.
you pass on the knowledge to your kids is exciting too. So some great athletes there. It's pretty phenomenal. So grateful to each one of you. Thank you for being part of TM3 United, our trademark, our foundation. Now let's go help some more people tonight. That's all I can ask, is that we go out and share it with one more person than we did before. So with that, I'm going to say, God bless.